So before we get started with our senior concert, one gentleman I wanted to acknowledge is one of our assistant principals, Brian Montier. He's right over there. You guys welcome him and thank him for being here. So tonight is about two things. First, it's about music, and it's about people. And I want to celebrate both of those things. Now, just to prepare you all that are freshman parents or who parents have been here before, our senior concert tends to be a little long. So just to prepare you all. And two things, I kind of told this to the band, I said I'm not going to apologize for that. Because if you've come through this program and you've done 7 years, and you've done 7 years in this program and given of yourself, then when it comes time to acknowledge you and acknowledge your accomplishments, I'm going to do that, and I'm not going to rush through. So the freshman parent who's sitting there who is bored, irritated, you're like, oh, wait until you're a senior parent, and you're up here waiting for your kid to come through. You're going to have a different feeling. So keep that in mind. I do want to think one of the things that is always exciting from the standpoint of a parent in here watching and listening to the different talks of the different kids, it's one of those things that you can sit back and dream and be really excited for the quality of kid that your kid is with every day in band. And I always say this to any freshman parent coming through, because a lot of times in school they'll scare you. Oh, you got to worry about this or this class. And that's what the middle school people like to do as a means of intimidating, because they really love bullying kids when they come to high school. Actually, high school will be easier in a lot of ways. And the only thing that you really have to worry about are other kids. So if you're finding a way to surround yourself and your kids around better quality kids, your kids are going to be better off. So that's going to be part of tonight. Okay, I'm just going to do this because this is getting awkward. Do you guys have a way to fix this? Okay, never mind. So before we get started, I want to explain a couple things to you guys. First off, there are a lot of things to celebrate this year. Despite the COVID, and I've been very vocal about it, so if you've ever heard me talk about our time during COVID, our time coming out of COVID, I have been very negative on kids. I've been very negative on kids' ability to come out of a tragic event and work hard and get their nose to the grindstone. Except for the kids that you see here. The kids that you see here have given of themselves, they have sacrificed, they have done the things that we've asked them, and they have worked exceptionally hard. And one of the ways you can prove that is by 100% participation in solo ensemble this year. 100% of our kids. I think we sent 40-ish, 35 to 40 kids with 2 districts. Or excuse me, we sent all the kids to districts, but 2 state, I think we sent around 40 some odd. Is that right, Kramer? Where's Kramer? Is that right, Kramer? Around 40 kids? Okay, never mind. Sorry, Kramer was, he was doing some business back there, so I think it was around 40, and to have 40 kids go where we needed a busload, that was an amazing thing. And that's something to celebrate. One of the things, the way we do that, and one of the things that we made this happen, is by you guys being motivated, volunteering, coming in and working at bingo. And just to put things in perspective, we have somewhere between the high school and middle schools, we probably have somewhere around 15 to 20 private teachers. And the teachers come into the classrooms and they work with the kids individually, one-on-one. They work with their ensembles, they work with their solos. That has been a game changer for us. And going forward, that's going to be a game changer for us. So one of the things that I did as a young teacher is I would sit around and dream about things that are possible for your kids in this program. Them coming in here, having the very best experience, the very best advantage, to me, was paramount. I had to have that for them. And finding ways to do that and make that happen, and you all are doing the same thing. And as well, don't you all get sick and tired of watching the West County schools and we get less Doesn't that drive you all crazy? You'll have the opportunity to go to other schools and you see better facilities, you see better this, you see better that. We can't control any of that. The only thing that we can control is the amount of work and the experience that your kids are going to have here. Those are the things that we have control of. Those are the things that you all help us dedicate for. Oh, you're the man. All right. Look at this one. Yes, thank you. That there is a problem solver. You can be president someday. Oh yeah, much better. So, before I get started, I wanted to, are there any other private teachers in the audience that I missed? I didn't see you here tonight. We've been able to add this component to our private lesson program, and we had private lessons program before COVID. Once COVID came, everything that we had put in place had fallen apart, and we've been working on rebuilding that and growing that. One other component that I was able to add, and Ms. Brown did some hard work finding people that were available and that would be willing, because you all may seem surprised at this, there are a lot of people that don't want to go into the schools, and they don't want to work with kids because of the rumors and things that they hear about kids. So luckily we found people that were gracious enough to come in and do this. And we have one person here tonight who is pretty special to us, and I've been excited having him on board, working with our kids, working with our trumpets, and in private lesson capacity and concert band. And the other special thing that he has done is come in because he's a local jazz musician, a local jazz pro, plays, several nights a month, and it's Kazimu Taylor. He's right over here. Kind of wave Kazimu for us. And I'm sorry we had a miscommunication between him and I, because I wanted him to bring his trumpet and kind of play with the guys today, and I missed that. Sorry about that, Kazimu. My fault. However, we are doing a special jazz concert on Monday in the band room, and the guys here are really amazing. They can do a lot of things, and I wanted to show them off. So if you guys are free, come to the band room Monday night. Think of it as a date night. Go to dinner before, afterwards with your honey. Come in and have a good time. Listen to some good music, and it's kind of an open jazz session. So if some of you guys are jazzers or have been in another life or would like to be, bring your instrument and come on down and play. So that's on the table. Kazimu we've worked it out where Kazimu works with one combo, and this combo here is the Jazz Bros. That's an original name. And then this combo over here, they started out to becoming Jazz Bros Revisited, and then I made fun of them with that name, so they changed it to Chili. Oh, I made it. Well, it was a bad name. I'm glad you guys did. And they decided to call themselves Chili Pot Reheated. And so I'm not going to talk here during their performance. I'm going to go ahead and let them play. But having Kazimu Taylor here working with the jazz guys, and he's worked with both of the groups. And then once we brought in Luke Saylor, who is a Mehlville graduate. He was in one of the early band combos that we started here many years ago, and graduated, went to Webster, and he's also a local professional who just plays around town. So he's going to be here Monday as well. Like a lot of jazz guys, he's got a gig tonight, he's playing. So, but you guys, if you're willing to come up, you'll get to see the guys tomorrow, or Monday. And so we have, starting the concert, it's going to be Chili Pot. And the two tunes they're playing are listed here. And then the Jazz Bros, their two tunes are listed here in the program. And if you guys are free Monday, please come on out. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I think you guys will like the two jazz combos.
That's it. Before we start our next tune, I wanted to share with you guys, we've got one senior in concert band this year, and I wanted to take a minute and recognize him, Ahmad He's one of our percussionists. He's been one of our percussionists in the group for the past 4 years. He's been a great player, a great student, a great leader within the group. And he's never one to shy away from a musical challenge. And that's one thing that I can say for this group. This year, I made it a point of making them not play scared. I feel like that they've grown a lot from that because I've basically made them. Just having them just play and play and play and to play as confidently as they can and don't be worried about making a mistake. Because every time we make a mistake, we end up growing from that mistake. We learn from it. And I've been trying to tell them not to be afraid of making mistakes because it's okay. I wanted to say that with Ahmad, over the past 4 years, he's been an integral part of the percussion section. He's been a leader within the group that everybody looks up to. So I wanted to say that after Mehlville, he'll be attending St. Louis Community College at Merrimack for 2 years, and then he's going to be transferring to either Webster or UMSL, where he's going to study statistics and become either a statistician or an actuary. So I wanted to, my pleasure to introduce our senior in concert band, Ahmad Al-Hiti. This last tune, I think the band had a really good time with this one, getting this one prepared, and there's a lot of really challenging things that are happening in this piece. So I hope you like it. This is called "The Forge of Vulcan."
So I know that gets me off the couch because I've been in trouble, so no, I'm just kidding. But I did ask the band and you guys could join in because Miss Brown does a lot of things to embarrass me, and I hope we embarrass her quite a bit tonight, but I do want to sing happy birthday to her, okay? All right, thank you. Going on with our first award is Ella Burns. If you've ever met Ella, you would be able to tell very quickly, minutes after you met her, that she's an amazing person and an amazing student. We saw leadership qualities in her when she was a young band member coming up through middle school, and then eventually coming to high school. She continued those leadership qualities and was not afraid to be pushed, was not afraid to get involved, not afraid to be a part of everything that she could. Eventually, Ella became drum major of the marching band, continued on providing leadership, providing a role model for the band members. We've come to rely on her to support the band members, and support the directors. She's also kept a list of quotes, ongoing quotes. I don't know exactly how it started, but basically she kept, you are several thousand? How many do you have? Oh, so she only has 250 quotes. How many years is this? Over the 4 years of high school, she kept quotes of quirky, weird things that she heard along the way and wrote them down. And she has an ongoing list. And some of them are pretty funny. There's a lot of band members in there. I think I'm in there, Mr. Kramer, and there's a lot of people in there. But when you know Ella, that is her personality. If she can be creative and quirky at the same time and find ways and do things different than other people, that is a good example of her. Also, when it was raining during Disney, when most people were taking shelter, she took that as an opportunity to ride on every possible ride that she could, and they were racing through the park like crazy people to ride on every ride. And I think that excitement, I think that no fear, the ready to take on the challenges are the example of what you would see from Ella Burns. And because of that, Ella is receiving the Band Dedication Award. Also, I'd like to, with each senior, we'll talk about what they're doing next year. And next year, Ella is going to Northeast Missouri State. She's studying, Southeast Missouri State, SEMO. And she's studying digital and integrated marketing communication. I don't know what that is, but just marketing. Sounds complex. But the other good side to her going there, she's got quite a bit of scholarship money, and she's got a residence life leadership for $6,000 over the course of 4 years. She has a Copper Dome scholarship for $2,150, so $21,500. And over the 4 years, she has a $1,500 travel abroad credit. And so that's a big help and an amazing student. So Ella Burns. Okay, so our next student, I first met her when she was in middle school, and she would always stand out because she was always wearing cat ears on her head. And when we had this week, we had Spirit Week, Retro Week or something. There was something weird we had. What was it we had this week? Okay, so we had Throwback Thursday. So Ella, Kate, Anisha's and Brown, I'm going to throw things back for you right now. And she had this bag, and she pulled this bag out, and she pulled out the cat ears from her freshman year that she would wear, and they were spiky. They had spikes on them. So once again, another quirky individual, wonderful individual. Meeting her, you would fall in love with her. I'm going to get serious here in a minute because some of you all may not know this, and I admire this about her and cherish this about her. But when Tori was a freshman, her mother passed away in her sleep. I think it happened during band camp.
It happened the night before competition.
night before, it was early in the season, it was the night before a marching competition, and very tragic. She lost her mother. And as an adult, and many of y'all have experienced this, losing a parent is traumatic enough, but being a teenager losing a parent is tragic. And knowing Tori, her personality, knowing how she functions, how she operates, and as you all can see, she is a little quirky. She's worked through the difficulties as best as she could, and is up here today striving to be better, thriving to be better, and also being a great support for the other students in the band. I think because of her inner struggles and turmoil has made her even more gracious to the people around her. So whenever there's a student who's having a hard time, sometimes we point them toward Tori, and she knows some of the things to say to them to help them feel better. So she's an amazing young force in the band, amazing young person, great personality, as you all see, that I can kid her about her cat ears. And I'm sure somewhere along the way her mother is watching her and proud of her and loves her and adores the young adult that she's become, as we all do. So receiving the Band Pride Award is Tori Kavola. And next year, Tori is going to Lindenwood University, and she's studying one of two possibilities, either criminology or psychology. Now, this next young man, I have to tell a little story, and you guys know this. I have some inner anger, and I still do, on what COVID did to kids and what kids allowed to happen to them. Because you have control of your fate, you have control of your circumstances around you. And I'm going to tell a little story about Ishan Crawford. He may not like parts of this, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it. So Ishan became a casualty of COVID. He became unmotivated. He did not want to do things, did not want to participate, did not want to get involved, and basically for a period of time was not doing what he should do for band. And I was very angry at him, I was very crappy at him, and I actually ended up moving him out of honor band into concert band. And I think he was in concert band a semester or a year, and then eventually came out of it, did what he was supposed to do, and he came to me the start of that next season, and we were able to come back and start up again and say, Brad, I just want to do something. I need to do marching band clinics again just to brush up on that. And then I said, hey, how about holding a drum? How about putting a bass drum on your body, march around with it? And he goes, sure. And he ended up doing that every marching season, and eventually ended up moving over to quad, and was an amazing drummer, and actually just did an amazing job, amazing work. And when you meet those kids that have those outstanding abilities, a lot of times they transfer to other things. So him being a strong player on the drum line, being a strong saxophone player, all that kind of plays a part. We had him in jazz band pretty early, and his work in jazz band when we were in COVID was actually really good. That's why it kind of killed me to move him out of honor band into concert band. But once we got back in person, it was very apparent. He had this ability to improvise, and had this great feel, this great sound, and was very motivated. And that was the Ishan that I remembered as coming in as a freshman, and that's the Ishan that I see today, and that's the Ishan. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. So all those things, and that's the voyage. And for him, I can't say more exciting things what's in his future. And after hearing him improvise, hearing him play with the jazz band today, I do think it's only fitting that Ishan receives the Woody Herman Jazz Award. next year, Sean is going to Southeast Missouri State. I got it right that time. And he's studying cybersecurity. Yes, for sure. And here's the other amazing part. Sean has a Veteran Affairs Scholarship, where he's entitled to $1,400 a month. I'm assuming it's like a stipend as a full-time college student up until he's age 30. And that can be used up through over the 4 years. And it's equals to somewhere around $67,000. He's also receiving the Copper Dome Scholarship, which is a 4-year scholarship worth over $4,000. So congratulations. This next young man, and I was trying to remember, Dylan, did we put you in the pit because you were bad at marching? Okay, sorry. I was trying to remember, and I think Dylan came in, and you know, sometimes this happens with boys. They just are awkward, and their bodies are awkward. Not you, of course. But it just takes them a little bit of time sometimes to get the coordination. And so I think we tried putting Dylan, marching him on the field with saxophone, and that didn't go well. But he had a good energy about him, he had a good personality, he was easy to work with, and what we decided to do is end up putting him in the pit. Now, if you all got to see him and watched specifically in the pit, him over the 4 years, or actually, I guess we had 2 years of marching band, didn't we? Freshman year, and then the 2 remaining years, junior, senior year, you would see him and Parrish basically climbing over each other to play their instruments, to play their drums, and it was just fun to watch. And couldn't remember totally how we ended up there, but sometimes when things happen by mistake, sometimes that's the best thing, because he was just an incredible musician, allowed us to grow the drum line and the pit and that contribution. He was a good sax player. We ended up actually moving him to bass clarinet some during marching band, our concert season, because we needed some help there. Has done a great job. You all got to hear him play guitar tonight, and I didn't discover his skill on guitar till late in his high school career. If you all came to the musical, he had some big parts in the musical. Just outstanding musician, outstanding jazz musician. You know, like I said, his guitar playing blew me away. And his passion as he plays, his excitement, his passion, and that's what we saw very early on as a freshman. And he still continues and has that. I hope he keeps playing. I hope he keeps doing things in the future. So I do believe winning the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award is Dylan Cross. And next year, Dylan is going to St. Louis Community College and transferring to a 4-year college after that, and majoring in technology. And he's got the A+ scholarship, which is somewhere around $5,500 over the course of the 4 years. So congratulations. Okay, so this next young man, I have to give a little bit of a backstory, because he came and told me one point, he said, Mr. Brown, my dad, when he was in high school band here, he was in band at the same time Miss Brown was. And his dad, incredible sax player, all-state, was a working musician in Branson for a period of time, went to Missouri State on a scholarship and was studying jazz. And when he was a student here, won the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award. His older brother, who came through here as a trombone player, really took to jazz, an amazing musician, trombone player, also won the Louis Armstrong. And I think, now, tell me if I'm wrong, I think your dad said you're not allowed to come home if you don't. He's kicked out of the house if he doesn't win the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award. So if you guys know anybody that needs some help and can take him in, because I gave it away to Dylan. But I have something different in mind for you, if you don't mind here. So one of the things that you don't know about William, you don't see about William, his musicianship, his ability goes beyond just what you see him on piano. He can compose, he writes music. I think he spends probably hours and hours and hours alone in his basement, just playing, making music, doing things when most people are out doing other things. And it became really apparent during COVID because we're in COVID, we're shut down, most of us were spending a lot of time laying in our bed. And he sent me, it was in the 4 in the morning, he emailed me this piece that he composed, and I was so excited. I sent it to the principal right away, and then the principal ended up sending it out to the entire district as just basically he was promoting something on the kids were doing. William is the kind of kid, and I like using this analogy for him. You give him an erector set for Christmas, he gets an erector set to take the directions and throw them out, and then make something incredible, and then he'll make something even more incredible that the directions say that you're not supposed to be able to make. And that to me is an example of William. So his skill, his ability, his thought process, his energy goes way beyond what you just see and what you just see him do tonight in jazz band and concert band. William ranks amongst probably one of the top musicians that come out of Mehlville High School. And I've been here 30 years. I was here as a student, and if he is focused and guided and does the things that he wants to do, he can do some really amazing things. So I'm very excited for him. I'm very excited for his future, and winning the John Phillips Sousa Award is what it is. And William said, I guess he's just grounded now. He's may get to go home. So next year he's going to Western University, and he's doing sound recording and engineering. And also, you guys want to pay attention to this because this is pretty amazing. He has a 1 academic merit scholarship from Webster, which equals somewhere around $60,000. And he has a Council of Independent Colleges tuition exchange program, which is worth somewhere around $118,000. So most of his colleges pay for that. This next young man, I have to tell these stories because I don't know if you guys know a lot of these stories about them. You guys who are close to Andrew Freeman will know these stories, but there are some of y'all that may not. And I think it was right before COVID or during COVID. I was trying to remember the exact timeline. I think it was right around the time we were shut down with COVID that Andrew got diagnosed with a brain tumor. Was it right before COVID? Right, that's what I thought. Right as COVID was kind of starting, and you weren't supposed to go to the hospitals, and he ended up getting diagnosed with a brain tumor. And I can't imagine the feelings that you go through when you do that, and knowing him and knowing that traumatic feeling and thoughts and those things, it gives you a new appreciation on things. He ended up having surgery during the height of COVID. I think you had one more surgery after that too, didn't you? So 2 surgeries to remove a tumor, and the tumor came back after they first removed it. Is that what happened? And I had to do this. I said, "Can you show me the scar where they end up?" It was the real deal. So one of the things that I remember talking with him about afterwards, and it does add a whole new dimension to your thoughts and your existence. To meet Freeman now and to know him, you would never know that he had these personal challenges that he had to go through personally, and with his health, you would have had no idea. And he's in great shape. He's shortly after having that second tumor removed, he joined the tennis team, and I was really worried about it. And I went to his tennis coach, and I'm like, "Hey, just so you know, this guy just had a tumor removed. It's like a month before, right?" Yeah, I could ask your parents. Your mom probably knows. It was like a month before. He probably shouldn't have been out there, but knowing Andrew Freeman, knowing how he operates, knowing how he approaches things, how intense he is, and I think he did some tennis for a while, and ended up doing some swimming, done some water polo, and I think you spend most of the time in the pool now, don't you? So he spends a lot of time in the pool swimming, doing athletic things, and I've actually used him at bingo to help us sell because he's very fit. And I've used him as a poster child to want to buy more, and it worked too. We had a really great night because of Andrew Freeman right there. Also, they tell me this in the French Horns that he's very funny, tells a lot of jokes, and has a strong sense of humor. I can't speak as far as perseverance. I can speak for those things that I see and that I know. And when it comes right down to it, he's a tough kid. He plays hard, he works hard, and I think that describes Andrew Freeman. And receiving the Athlete Musician Award is Andrew Freeman. And I think this is telling for Freeman because next year he's working on pursuing EMT certification through Total Access, where he wants to work on becoming a firefighter, paramedic. And I think that being an example of how he is and how he wants to help people and the things that he's do. He has an ultimate scholarship, which gives him some sort of payment and stipend as he's attending college and his training. So congratulations. Okay, so I wasn't going to make fun of people tonight, and I'm still not going to. It's okay, man, I'm not. So, but I have to, and I mean this with the greatest amount of love and all that, but when I first met Amelia, she was incredibly awkward. She was very quiet. She was in 6th grade band. She was playing clarinet. She was playing her mom's clarinet, right? She was playing her mom's clarinet. She was in the 6th grade band, and she brought, I don't know why, if it was a security blanket, exactly why it was, but you had it. I got really excited. She had that little Sophie giraffe. You guys have probably had one for your kid because that was the thing to do. She had the little Sophie giraffe, and you squeeze it, and then it would make a loud, and for whatever reason she had, why did you have that? You took it from him? Okay, so she took her brother's Sophie giraffe. It was 2. And she wanted it. And she brought it to school, and then I saw it, and I started playing with it, and it became this whole thing. And I think that was one of the starts of kind of bringing her out of her shell, because that became our, and then I kept seeing this Sophie giraffe all through middle school. I think you put it away when you got to high school, didn't you?
I think it got stolen sometime.
Oh, somebody. So she stole it from her 2-year-old brother. So maybe your brother stole it back. Maybe. When you meet Amelia and the fun that we're having with her, and that is typical of her. She's very focused, very driven. One of the things that you don't know about her, she's a really good piano player. We had her playing in the pit for a period of time, and she was very insistent, said, "No, Brown, I want to march." So she ended up marching. Was it 2 years you marched or what? Marched the last 2 years of high school, and it killed me because she was a great piano player, and we could have used her there as well. But she's an outstanding competitive dancer. She's like dancing almost every weekend somewhere in the country. And I think I got to know her better in a lot of those Google Meets. And I think more of her personality would come out during those Google Meets. And besides all the negative things that came out of it, COVID allowed me, because that was all we could do, is to engage the kids more and to learn their personalities. And it became really fun for me. In fact, there were probably a lot of meets that we didn't do any work because I just wanted to talk with the kids. So I think through her high school career, coming from her as a 6th grader, knowing her with carrying the little Sophie doll around, she's developed a lot of confidence. This once quiet little girl from middle school is now loving life, thriving in high school, and toward the end of her career being dedicated, marching with her clarinet and being a big asset to the band. So receiving the Team Player Award is Amelia Hayes. And next year, Amelia Hayes is going to Kansas State, and she's studying hospitality management. And she has a Missouri tuition match program award for little over $16,000 a year. So congratulations. This next young man, I met him when he was in 8th grade, and I didn't quite know him. I'd heard of the Herbert family. There's a clan of them. I'd heard of them, but I hadn't quite met you yet. And then 8th grade, he was actually a beginner French horn player. I was over for the beginner brass class, and he'd only been playing French horn for a short period of time, and right away he was doing really well. And by the end of the year, I talked to the band directors and him. I'm like, man, coming to high school, I really want you to play French horn. And, knowing his personality, he's the kind of kid that, yeah, okay. Just won't say no to you. And it's been lucky for us because, we've had him doing multiple roles here. Playing French horn, being a second instrument. He's played saxophone in the band. We've had him playing guitar and bass, and we probably played some drum set in jazz band when we needed somebody to fill in for stuff. So when we auditioned the kids, right away we knew, following the Herbert tradition that I heard about them, how amazing and musical the family was, and the kids were. He followed right in line with that. And very quickly, coming into high school, he was a little concerned playing French horn because he's like, I'm kind of a beginner. I go, you'll be fine. You'll get caught up. And he did. And hearing him play at state, hearing him play in band, you all got to hear him play in jazz band and playing bass and switching off with his brother and playing saxophone. And you guys come on Monday night, you'll get to hear him do some more work. And I think the telling thing with Jacob, and I think this does tell the story with him with this award, is that his ability to switch around, change things, have multiple talents, and play multiple things, and do multiple things on a very high level. He's very enthusiastic, very enthusiastic leader, very positive, and I think very telling, touching people and changing people's lives where he's going to pursue ministry worship next year in college. But I think the music will help reach people as well. So receiving the most versatile award is Jacob Herbert. So next year, Jacob is going to Liberty University, and I forgot which state that's in. Virginia, and he's going to be studying ministry worship. In fact, his dad is an alumni from Liberty University and is also a worship music minister, and receiving a scholarship for a little under almost $16,000 a year, and for scholarships and academic grants. So congratulations to Jacob Herbert. So this next young lady has always been really easy to spot. And you guys have probably watched the marching band. You probably have trouble finding your kid, don't you? You look out there and which kid is mine, and they all look the same. However, there's one that does not look like the other. Isn't that a song? Like a childhood song. And you would always see Sophie marching around at football games in her cheerleading uniform. You would see her cheering on the side. You would see her run out to the field with her clarinet, do the halftime show, run off the field, cheer from the sideline, and cheer the team on. And that became her existence for 4 years of high school. And those are just the things that you saw. So Sophie's been involved in countless clubs. She's what my wife calls a joiner. So, a joiner. That means, do you want to sit back or do you want to sit enjoying this and make things happen and make things better? And the world needs joiners. They need people with that are positive attitudes like she does. And her positive attitude, if you've ever been around her, is extremely high and extremely contagious. She's, like I said, she's probably in every possible club, participates in almost every school activity. She's in band and many other things that go way beyond that. She's a master at managing her time, being efficient, being thorough, being organized, and being dedicated. Sophie represents the best of busy high school students because of her positive outlook, because of her positive demeanor. She's an effective leader, and people just love being around her. You always see her if there's a student who needs a little positive reinforcement. She'll take it on herself to give them that positive reinforcement. And receiving this next award, and I didn't really quite understand where this award came from, and Mr. Kennison created this award years and years ago. And then we went to Graceland, and this kind of tied into Elvis's motto, which was, if you guys were Elvis fans, TCBY with a flash. And Mr. Kennison diverted a little bit, and this has been a long 30-year award that we've given out, and it's called Taking Care of Business Yesterday Award. So to Sophie Herbert. Okay, so because the Sophie scholarships were so large, normally I could put the kids on, 2 kids on a page. I just had to put Sophie on 1 page. So I'm going to read through some of these scholarships. I know this makes Daddy happy, wherever you are. So Sophie is planning on going to Truman State next year, majoring in communication disorders. She's eventually working toward the speech pathology track, and on a master's program there as well. And she's receiving just around $42,000 in scholarships, and there's probably even more coming in as we go through, because there's quite a bit of time left in the year. So she's receiving A+ scholarship, there's a True Merit scholarship, there's an American Legion Auxiliary scholarship, there's a Girls State scholarship, a Presidential scholarship, and an American Red Cross scholarship, and hopefully I didn't miss any. So congratulations to Sophie Herbert. Now, I don't know if it makes me old or just as a matter of convenience, but I remember when this guy was born. I remember seeing his mom pregnant and seeing you in her belly, not knowing that it was you. But Mikey Jones, I remember when you were born, because his older brother, Jacob Jones, was in band. He came into the band room, he was really loud. And he bursted out, he goes, "My mom had a baby," and we named him Mikey. Now, you've been Mikey for a long time, and I'd always known you as Mikey, and somewhere along the way it changed to Michael. Now, getting to know him, he is definitely a Michael. Mikey, he is not a Mikey. But when Jacob started high school, I think he had a perception of band because he had watched it so much as a youngster. Michael, did I say Jacob? Sorry. When his brother Jacob, watching his brother Jacob, but I think Michael had a certain perception of band, had a certain thought of it, and eventually ended up tuba. And it was fun because Jacob and Miss Brown would guess what instrument that you would play. Now Jacob would pick flute. You know your brother. And Miss Brown would pick like clarinet or saxophone. And he's like, "No, flute." We were surprised and happy when you end up playing tuba. And we didn't see that one coming. But I'm glad you did. Because not only was that a good fit for you, but high school band was a good fit for you. Now, a lot of times people will think because you're in high school that you can't do other things, and that's not true. His brother was in football, was one of the football players in wrestling. Michael's also been athletic, participating in track, cross country, also a number of other scholarship, our student leadership programs, National Honor Society, Student Council, Seniors at Connect, and FCA. He's a hard-working band member, never complaining, always in there getting ready to take care of business. And the thing that I did not quite realize until late in his high school career, how really smart he is. His grades are outstanding. We were kind of talking about scholarship. His dream school, which, I mean, this is what our Mehlville kids don't do. You don't dream big. So his dream school was MIT. And he was pushing and thriving. We would talk about it daily. And I had so much fun living vicariously through him because I had no chance of getting into MIT. And it was just a joy for me. Then I looked his grades up, and Michael, unweighted, has a 3.977, and weighted, he has a 4.398 weighted. Now, when you know all the things, being in band, being in sports, athletics, and all those things, it's amazing to be able to sustain that level of academic performance as busy as he is. So it's no, without question, giving Michael Jones the Scholar Musician Award. Now, I talked about his dream school at MIT, and I'm going to tell you his backup is not bad either. So he ended up getting accepted into Purdue University. Majoring in mechanical engineering with an emphasis on nuclear sciences. And he has a couple of scholarships here. He has an Elks Lodge scholarship for $1,500, and he has a WashU band benefit, our parent benefit, for $30,000 a year. So congratulations, Mike. This next young man, sometimes you just have those people that come out of the woodwork that you didn't know, you didn't see coming, and Daniel Coogler is that kid. He was in my music appreciation class. Now, my music appreciation class, generally for the most part, is for the students that are unmotivated. The students that need a fine arts credit, want to come in here, just do what they're supposed to do. Majority of them do not. A third of music appreciation students flunk. Now, it was an oddity, an anomaly, when I had a student who actually would do really well. And Daniel was that student. I was like, what is wrong with this kid? He's doing well in music appreciation. Now, I think I did eventually, but I didn't quite pick up the name Coogler, because his older brother was in band, Chris Coogler. Now, you guys who know Chris Coogler, he was kind of like our court jester. We'd always make fun of Chris. And he had a great personality, fun-loving, was in jazz band, did a great job at the jazz band. And then somewhere it came out, I don't remember if you told me, he told me, that you guys were brothers. And I go, you are not. Because Chris was really kind of funny, and Daniel was very serious. And somewhere along the way, we missed him coming to high school. We didn't get him. And I remember talking to Mr. Hahn, and he goes, oh, I don't know, Daniel, he wasn't that good of a trombone player. I go, really? Because he's like an amazing kid. I don't know, it just didn't. So maybe he misunderstood it, didn't understand it correctly. But eventually, we were talking in music appreciation. I was like, you play trombone, why don't you come and join band? He goes, really? I go, yeah. So he would do his work in a music appreciation class, and then go up into the dungeon and practice, day after day. He'd get his work done, go up to the dungeon and practice. And hearing him practice in the dungeon, he got better. He got a lot better. So we ended up joining band second semester. Was that your junior year? Second semester, junior year, it's like he'd been in band already as a freshman. He picked up whatever lost time he had, he picked up. And I think, that year you did solo ensemble, didn't you? And did solo ensemble. And took either a solo and or ensemble to district solo ensemble. So Daniel is one of the band's success stories. So somehow we lost him through the cracks, but then came back to us, and it ended up doing a great job. And I did not realize that he was a good guitar player either until late into his high school career. And doing a great job at jazz band. You got to hear him play over here with, what are these guys? The chili pot reheated. You got to hear him play over there. If you guys come Monday, you're going to get to hear him play some more. Just a great musician, a great hard worker, just a wonderful story. And I'm so glad he made that leap to come in and trust that he was going to have a positive experience with us. And him being here has helped enrich all of us, has made it worthwhile, and I can't say enough good things. And I do think this is fitting for Daniel Coogler receiving the Most Improved Award. And next year, Coogler is going to SIUE, and he wants to study music theory and composition, so congratulations. Now, this next young lady, I'm going to talk about here a little bit, and she actually came through us through Color Guard. And a lot of times, we have a lot of, I'm just going to say this, so in Mehlville, we have a lot of kids that just don't want to do anything. They go home and they're unmotivated, and they don't want to do anything. And we got Natalie through Color Guard, and she came in right away. You could tell there was an energy about her. I think you did acrobatics or something. What'd you do? Gymnastics? They had you flipping and stuff in the show, right? That's what I heard. Just work with me. Because at the time, our flag guys, oh man, I got this girl, she can do flips, and I'm like, let's have her do it, anything. And so that was kind of my introduction to Natalie Madoff. And obviously she did a great job during marching season. You see her out in the field, just selling it, just performing. And as I got to know her better, her personality was very dedicated. And she is very focused, very driven in something that's important to her and something that she wants to do. We had her, a lot of times the guard people, I encouraged them to come in and learn an instrument because a lot of times they're amazing kids and special kids, so I don't want to lose them. So she came in and she was playing some of the percussion stuff, and she had a lot more basis and ability than a lot of the guard people coming in. I'm like, what is the deal with you? She goes, well, I'm in choir too. And I was like, we missed you coming into the band program. And I was so glad we got her. I was so glad we found her. And she made a contribution musically right away. And we could pick her up and put her on other instruments, and she could read music and do those things. And it was just a joy having her. Knowing her personality, when you meet her, she's very mature. Her work ethic is off the charts, and she's very, very excited. She can work and do things. She eventually became a drum captain, or color guard captain, and was very positive, and she didn't disappoint there. Her ability to lead others, be positive, has been invaluable to us in marching band. At one point last year, I got kind of sad over this because I felt like Natalie was an amazing find, but she came to me and said, Mr. Brown, I've taken an early option, an early graduating option, and she did, and she's actually a junior, but she has enough credits and enough hours, and she's done enough of the work that she needs to graduate early. And as much as it was sad for me losing her, because she's an amazing student, I think it does kind of speak to her personality and speak to the kind of person that she is, because she wants to get life going. She wants to get things going. She wants to get things started, and she's not going to mess around. So even though it's sad for me, I'm still excited for her graduating early. I have the highest level of respect and determination, and I have the greatest amount of desire for her to pursue the next stage of her life. So receiving the Most Valuable Player Award for Color Guard is Natalie Madoff. And next year, Natalie is going to Missouri State, and she's going to be pursuing a career in acting as an acting major. So good luck to you. Congratulations. So this next young man, is that you, Jones? Your son has been a real issue because he was making fun of Chris Pesolato's feet yesterday, so. Now, it's always the smart kids. You always got the smart kids, yes, for sure. So, you might have noticed, if you've watched band and watched the different students into the marching season, Evan McCluskey, you might have noticed him this year playing bass drum in the pit. And it's really an interesting and kind of quirky, weird story. So he's been marching fine the last few years, and then for some reason he was on vacation, and help me if I get the details, but in Lake Michigan, right? You were swimming in Lake Michigan, which I haven't usually thought of Lake Michigan as being a high, turbulent, really difficult lake to swim in, but Evan McCluskey found apparently the spot that you're not supposed to swim. And somehow, through whatever means, there was a current, is that right? Okay, let's just say it was a current. A current dislocated his shoulder, which he had like emailed me or something and said, hey Brian, I was on vacation, I got this problem, my shoulder was dislocated. I think it was kind of traumatic. I think you were in a lot of pain. They had to take him to the hospital to reset it, and I think they were kind of concerned about how it was going to heal and whatnot. And I think it was right at the start of marching season. We were just kind of starting to take off. So we kind of were fishing around trying to find something for him to do. And, he's a good musician. He's a great musician. Played some bassoon coming into your first year of high school. We switched him to saxophone. And, his leadership and his maturity, he has a way about himself that, really just kind of inspires people. And with him being that good musician, no attitude, no, we said, well, what about playing bass drum? And we didn't have anybody playing bass drum, and the way the show was written and the music was, we needed something that would give it a lot of stability. And I think initially maybe he thought we were just kind of putting him there to keep him occupied, but actually he was really valuable, and we needed a lot of what he was doing on the bass drum. And he never complained about it. He's an outstanding player, outstanding musician, and we put him, which theoretically most people could conceive as a lesser role, and he did it with the greatest amount of effort. And it was good because we needed it at that point. So did a great job, has done a great job in symphonic band. I actually ended up switching to bass clarinet period of time because we needed some bass clarinet players, and came to me and went to state on bass clarinet this past last week with an ensemble, and I think he's having just an exceptional senior year. Being involved in cross country and track, and Evan's career is one of those, and I can say this wholeheartedly. He's not selfish. He's not concerned about me. He's concerned about contributing to the team, contributing to make things better for everybody and other people. And I think that really does speak to Evan McCluskey. So receiving the Most Valuable Player Award is Evan McCluskey. And next year, Evan McCluskey is going to Knox College, and he's studying political science, so congratulations. So this next young lady, I've said before, COVID was really horrible for a lot of things, but there were some things that was really positive, and Emma Meyer would always religiously be the first one to show up at all of our meets. And when she was the first one, and you're there, it's kind of awkward just sitting there. So I could not resist. We would just basically talk to her, and I think we would make fun of you, wouldn't we?
Oh yeah.
And it's one of those things, it's really amazing that we could come in each day and find things to make fun of her about. And I think sometimes we just make stuff up, and I think that's really where I started to see her personality come through, and through all the talking and the craziness and the teasing and the fun. I think it's where I really got to see her true self. Because as a freshman, she was pretty quiet. She stayed pretty far away from me, pretty distant for me. Some people say that I'm scary, but I don't really feel scary. Eva calls me sometimes what does she call me? What do you call me, Eva? Cinnamon roll. So sometimes I feel like a cinnamon roll, but, oh, thank you. But, you know, right away, once we got back in person, you know, those qualities that I saw about Emma in the meets held true. You know, a hard worker, extremely positive, quick-witted, fun personality. You know, she can be loud or she can be focused and directed when she needs to. She's a person I can depend on. She's been playing in concert bands some this year, and Mr. Kramer has leaned on her a lot to do a lot of things this year. I feel like taking COVID as part of it, I feel like her 4 years have been an incredible 4 years through the program, and what she's contributed. Each year, her playing level has increased and improved, and even this year they had her step up and play some pretty important parts this year in the concert music, pretty difficult parts. So, you know, like I said, it's the voyage, the improvement, but it's always amazing to see, and I think Emma Meyer represents that. You know, she's, because of her positive personality, because of who she is, and that person that I saw on the other end of the Google Meets, that coming true is just an amazing feeling. I do feel like whatever Emma sets her mind to, she has the mentality, she has the work ethic to be successful in her future goals. And giving this award to Emma is pretty special because it's based on her growth and her time coming in as a freshman, but receiving the Director's Award for Musical Excellence is Emma Meyer. And next year, Emma is going to Missouri State, and she's studying elementary education. I think when you know her, you would see that is definitely Emma. She's got some good scholarships, so she's receiving the Provost Scholarship for $4,000 a year. She's receiving the A+ Scholarship for $500 a year, and she had 2 scholarships come in today. She just told me about. There's a Mehlville Retired Teacher Scholarship for future educators for $1,000, and the Missouri State Band Pride Grant. So she's going to do marching band and participate in the band program at Missouri State for $900 a year. So congratulations, Emma. So Nessa Miller, sorry. Nessa Miller, when I look at her 4 years of high school band, and she's had an amazing 4-year band career. One of the things that come to mind, she's participated in solo ensemble multiple years. This year, she was part of a little flute trio, quartet, going to state, and that group's improvement as a section in band and as a group quartet has been amazing. I've been so proud of the improvement they've had in terms of pitch and quality musicianship. And it's very apparent. You know, Nessa has an excitement, she has a love for music. She's been a leader amongst the underclassmen within her section, and she takes a bit of pride in that. So the flute section is 4 students, and it's a smaller flute section, but in reality, it didn't really matter because the quality from person to person was there, and that really carried the band, so we didn't need any more. You could see a lot of improvement in her personality as a person, as a leader, as she has come through the high school career, and especially as a culmination of that. You can see that as a senior. So one of the things that I want to share with you guys, which it breaks my heart, but I think this is an amazing tribute to her and her ability to thrive and grow and improve. There was a tragic event where Nessa's sister had passed away, and I think they were very close and very close in age, and it's just a tragedy. And I remember it vividly, and I remember asking her about it and her telling me details about it, and it was a pretty just sad moment. And I think it's a testimony to her and the positive force that she has within her, the love for music, the love for doing, and the love for people, and which has allowed her to spring back and come back and still accomplish great things into high school and high school band. So I'm very proud of her, very proud of her work here, very proud of the things that she's done and the young person that she's become. So receiving the first chair award is Nessa Miller. And next year, Nessa is going to Webster University. She's going to be studying music education with an emphasis in instrumentals, and she has some good scholarships here. So she has a academic scholarship for $10,000, she has a music scholarship for $4,000, and she has some financial assistance in some capacity for a little under $6,000. So congratulations. So this next young lady, Karina Monty, I had to assure her that I was not going to make fun of her, because she said to me, she said, "Brian, are you going to make fun of me tonight? Are you going to make fun of me?" I think she even said that tonight, didn't you? No, I won't. But when you know Karina and you know her personality, and what's really fun is her coming in band as a freshman. And maybe it was because her older brother was in band and she was kind of the little sister, just, you know, kind of the little pipsqueak, the little quiet little sister. But she came in, she was really quiet. And one of the things that I used to notice about her, and I used to tease her about this, because she would be standing there and you could tell there were things that she was thinking. And she would be smiling, and she'd be laughing, and it was almost like she was talking to somebody, but I think she was just talking to the voices in her head. Because there was something, she was having a good time in there. And I said, all right, because she's had a number of nicknames through high school. What did I call you? Waterbug. What else did I call you? Chipmunk. Waterbug. Cricket. Yeah, I did not. Was that Michael Jackson? I thought her annoying. Man, he's sleeping outside tonight. Yeah. But when you know her personality, when you know how she is and how she works hard and she plays hard too. So I was so proud with this year, the culmination of her year, going to solo ensemble as a group, and that group doing really well at state. And unfortunately, I didn't make it into the room. They started a bit early, but I heard it through the door, and I was just so proud sitting outside. And I think that's kind of typical of Karina. She's like carved an identity for herself outside of band. Her brother was in band, very positive, a very hardworking band member, very talented, and I think, you know, she has followed suit and carved out her own identity, carved out her own place in band. By her senior year, the thing that I've noticed about her is her confidence and her wit. If you guys are around her, you better be ready, because she can give it to you. And she's the closest person that sits to me in band, and she gives it to me all the time. If I make a joke, and she's like, "That was a bad joke, Brown. That joke was not that funny, Brown." And actually, it makes the day go by, and I do love it when I have those students that challenge me, because I want them to go out and challenge the world. You're going to be forced to face things that you're going to need to be able to challenge and be strong and have some grit and some wit about you that it's just an amazing thing to see. So I'm not discouraging that. Hopefully we foster that. And we foster that leadership and that musicianship, which has been part of her experience here in high school. So I've been fortunate to be surrounded by amazing kids like Karina, and I'm so excited for her future. I'm so excited for the next step in her life. So receiving the Band Dedication Award is Karina Monty. Next year, Karina is going to Maryville University. She's studying interior design, and she has some scholarships. She has a Saints Academic Scholarship for $14,000 and a Dean's Scholarship for $3,000. And congratulations. Now this next young lady, Kelsey Warning, I have to talk about her a little bit, because as well, she had an older brother that came through the band program. And especially for kids who've had older siblings that have come through the band program, what you hope is that their experience is positive, and the older sibling experience was positive. I can tell you, Casey's contribution to the band program has been positive. And she's been one of those people that's what did I say? Oh, sorry, okay. Kelsey's experience has been positive. She's been a motivated band member, like her brother, and I know it was a lot of fun in the meets. I would tease you on the meets too. And then once she would surprise me, her brother would appear there in her place. And I'm like, whoa, Kelsey, you changed. So when you meet her, you meet her brother, you meet her family, that is the wit, the humor, the fun, that exists in their family. And, I always enjoy seeing the mom at bingo, and Kelsey's been coming into bingo. And there was one bingo, I remember this specifically, because her boyfriend was a golfer. And he was on the golf team, and she was going to the golf range. And I was like, oh, Kelsey, you should play on the golf team. And she goes, no. I go, yes, let's play on the golf team. Why don't you do that? And I don't know if it was me convincing you or it was your boyfriend. Probably your boyfriend. Probably had more influence than me. But she eventually ended up joining the golf team her senior year. And the coach, I think, initially was kind of like, oh, this girl's a senior. But she had been going to the range probably for a couple years and playing golf with her boyfriend. And right away, I was so proud of how she just came in and took the challenge. Those of you guys who have ever played golf, it is a mentally straining, draining game. It's supposed to be something for fun, but you end up cussing more than you say happy things. And I think this is typical of Kelsey. She's not a person who's scared of challenges, scared of hard work. The golf coach, loved Kelsey and was excited to have her. And he said, he goes, hey, Brown, if you got any more of those band kids like Kelsey that want to join the golf team, please get them out there. And I said, well, she's a rare bird. I mean, she's one out of a million, so it's going to take a pretty special person to go down that road. But she struggled in some tournaments and some things, and then she would come back and fight back and, didn't give up. She did a great job through the end of the season, and I think the coach saw the same qualities that we saw and we see of her in band, which is that one of being a perfectionist with a lot of grit and a lot of grind, and she can come in and just get the job done. She's not a person who's satisfied with mediocrity, and that's why golf was kind of frustrating for her at times, because golf is a game of misses. It's not a game of perfection. So for kids like her who want to be perfect, it's very difficult to swallow. But she came in and she fought through it every day. She'd go to the range, and I'd see her at the range, and I'd work with her and help her at the range. She was always receptive. We'd come into band, and she was always receptive to everything. And I think that's just a testimony to her and how she is. And she's one of those people that will be successful, and she will just outwork you and outgrind you to be successful. This award Mr. Tennyson created years and years ago, and I've kept this award because I think for a lot of our kids, this is a telling award. It's A squared plus B squared equal excellence. And what that award means, above and beyond band equals excellence. And I think that speaks to Kelsey Warning for sure. And next year, Kelsey is going to St. Louis Community College. She's undecided on her major at this point, and she's receiving the A+ scholarship, so congratulations. Okay, so this next young man, I remember vividly him coming in as a freshman, and you guys see him right now? You see the expression on his face? How he looks very serious, he looks very focused, very directed. That's what he looked like as a freshman. Most kids come in and they're scared, they're tentative, they're not quite sure, they're not about this, and that was the same look that he had. And I think when you know Aiden and you've been around Aiden, you could say, man, this is a pretty serious kid. Yes, he is. And that there is no pretentious, there is no joke. He is very serious about what he's doing and very focused in what he's doing. I think coming as a freshman, when he joined the drum line, one of the things he said to me, he goes, Brown, I didn't really know if I would like this. I didn't really think I would like this. And actually, by the time we got deeper into his freshman year, I think he loved it. And he was part of a drum line that those guys would just work like animals. I mean, they would just work like crazy and would practice all the time. They practiced till late at night. They practiced after school. And in fact, I got in trouble. Imagine this, because they were practicing too much. Who in the right? There was some teacher who complained because the drum line was practicing too much. Now I said this, I said, well, that teacher probably should not be a teacher. You should fire them right away. Because that a person that cannot sit there and be excited over what kids are doing, what kids are motivated to do. I mean, you need to get rid of that person, because that's a person that's pretty worthless and should not be in our building at all. So I know I have a social problem in the building. So, and I think, that group of guys and Aiden fit right into that mold. As he went through his high school career, that was a pretty good group that we had that year, his freshman year, and coming out of COVID, even that next year, they were really good. And then we lost a lot of those upperclassmen. And we were sad because we didn't get to explore what they could have been and could have done. So, and watching them, I just loved watching them rehearse because they were so intense, it was so focused. Going on to Aiden's senior year, he became co-captains, and I think there was some hesitation in his mind and some fear is that they would live up to the group that we had before. And that's a common thing for people. You're like, am I going to be as good as the guys who came before me? And actually, in a lot of ways, this drum line ended up being even better. Because they had a sense of work about them, that sense of pride about them, and they had a sense of urgency and a sense of tradition that they wanted to try to keep. And Aiden was a big part of that. He was a big part of helping guide that, helping foster that. And, he's organized, he thinks ahead, he has these thoughts that probably the average high school kid should not have. And, he's always working on trying to get things better, trying to improve things. And I think that's really typical of him. So you guys who got to see this year's show, the drum line was amazing. Coordinating the stuff with the pit. And like I said, in a lot of ways, it was probably even better from those couple of years that we had those guys, especially coming out of COVID. So Aiden's been an amazing musician, playing in jazz band. You got to hear him. He played in the musical, just always playing. I always hear those guys off on the side when they're supposed to be studying, playing something and, jamming in the corner. It's just always fun. And seeing that excitement in kids, I want that around me. I don't care how annoying it is. I don't care if teachers in the building don't like it. I don't really care. But when you have motivated kids that are willing to do things above and beyond, any day long, I'm going to foster that. I'm going to applaud that. So, congratulations to those guys. So, Aiden Palacio-Lindsay received the Most Valuable Player Award, drumline. And next year, Aiden is going to St. Louis Community College and starting a career in engineering sciences. So congratulations. And he has an A+. Perfect. All right, this next young lady, she was rushing from, it was a water polo, right? They had a water polo meet. There's two things that happened. They had a water polo meet, we had a track meet tonight, and also I did a poor job of planning how much time we were going to have. So we programmed too much music, we played too much music, and I'm bragging on the kids too long. So, but I want to do both of them. So, and I'm going to brag on this young lady for a second here. So when I think of Madeline Ramos, the first things that come to mind for me is energetic, positive role model, and hardworking. Like I said, you guys heard, she just came from a water polo meet today, and I asked her, how'd you guys do? She says, we lost, but it's okay, Brown, it's all right. And also, the thing about her is that she's incredibly positive. She's the kind of person that will uplift your day just because she wants to. And one of the things I noticed about her in band is she's always listening to every word that you say very intensely. She is responding internally to everything, everything that you need, that you're saying. And I would suspect that she is doing the same thing within her sections, because she's in a section of predominantly boys, and they probably need a lot of help. Yes, they do. And they sometimes are unorganized, and probably sometimes do not remain focused. Now, Madeline is always very good at being positive in everything that she does, misdirecting or redirecting behavior and bringing things back into task. So she's involved in multiple activities, clubs, participating in the musical. She's on the swim team. She was in water polo, and as a trumpet player in the section, she was solid. You know, she was always ready to go, always doing the things that we needed her to do, always prepared, always ready to help out. I could depend on Madeline to do what's right. I could depend on her to get the job done and do it in a positive way for the people around her. You always in the band room see crowds of people kind of hanging around her. It's because she's so positive. And people want to be around people that make them feel good, that make them feel special. And she has that ability. She has that way about her that, you know, people want to see her, want to talk to her. And I love it too. I get suckered into it. Always, whenever I see her, I always say something to her. So, but she's an amazing person, a special person. And I think once you hear her next career, I think it's only fitting and telling that she goes down this road. But receiving the Team Player Award is Madeline Ramos. And next year, Madeline is going to Mizzou, and she's going to study special education. And she has some scholarships. I think she just recently got in a few days ago. She has $3,000 in academic achievement money, so congratulations. So like that old adage, you're saving the best for last. Here we go. Cameron Ulmer. How many of you guys, raise your hand, please be honest with me. How many of y'all went to the musical? Saw the musical? Yeah, so if you didn't see this guy there, he was in it. And he had it wasn't the lead, you were like you had the second role. But watching him sell it, watching him perform it, and you thought he was going to win a Tony Award for that. And when you know Cameron, you know his personality, and you see him in this element, you know he has talents that go beyond just what you see. As freshman year, we went through one marching season. I kind of knew him a little bit. I had perceptions of him from middle school really being into Star Wars, and he had like 50 lightsabers and like 20 masks, the helmets, right? And he'd bring them to school for May the 4th. Remember that? He what? Oh, he brought them yesterday. Well, don't grow out of that. Don't grow out of that. But I think what that shows with him is his imagination, his ability to, and his lack of fear of being different than other people. And that's what he's going to need to be, especially when he's doing the musical, doing music, doing the things that he's doing. I really, like I said, got closer to a lot of these kids I felt during COVID. And I got to see his personality, because I would intentionally tease kids during COVID. And his reaction was always great, it was always fun. And I think I still tease you. Did I tease you today? Okay, yeah. And that just becomes part of our way of like showing affection. And it's been always special with Cameron. And those of you all who know him, especially know him well, you know, you wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's gone to School of Rock and done lessons there. You know, he's done some singing, some acting here in the school. I think he's been involved in every musical and play that he could here at school, and definitely the culmination of his senior year, watching him in the musical, I just smiled with joy, seeing him out of passion in what he was doing. Here in band, we've seen him have that same passion, that same love for what he's doing, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. You know, I watched his talents grow and improve. I watched him through the years mature as a person, as a musician, and as a singer and actor. And, you know, his personality is bigger than life. His personality is fun, and most importantly, he's a well-rounded student. He's an amazing student. In the classroom, he's very focused, very dedicated. I know he did an acting seminar, and pardon me for not having all the details, at Missouri State, and they loved him there when he went, and I think they gave him like a scholarship on the spot and really wanted him to go to school there. So I think very fitting. My one regret, which I did not get from him, is because he's an incredible guitar player and singer, is I did not get him in jazz band, which I tried, I think, every year, didn't I? Every week? I think I still tried to get you to join it this week. And that's, when you know him, that's the kind of kid that you want to go after. You want those kind of kids like Cameron that are positive. And I think very fitting of him for his well-rounded, for his ability across multiple talents. Oh, man. All right, we didn't pay the light bill. Is Cameron Ulmer receiving the musicianship award? And next year, I kind of gave it away a little bit. Cameron is going to Missouri State. He's majoring in acting, and he has some good scholarships here. He has the Board of Governors scholarship from the state of Missouri for $6,500 each year, and he also has an Oakville Elks Club scholarship for $1,000. So congratulations. So all of our seniors are special to us. They're all special to the program. When you enter this program, some part of you still stays. Some part of you is still a part of this experience. And I hope the kids leave this place, do great things, and for the short period of time that we have them, hopefully we've instilled some things into them that will give them the skills to be more successful at the next level, or whatever they choose. So please give one more round of applause to all of our seniors.
I'm going to take like 2 minutes for this, but you guys all know about my quote list now, so that's kind of fun. So as a present to Brown and Kramer, we've compiled some of the quotes. It's definitely not all of them, but in a frame with all of our names so you can hang it in the band room and look back and see, look at all the stupid things we said. and said, some of y'all are white enough to be king of the Clorox people.
Thank you guys for that. That's very special. That's very sweet and very creative. So, you guys, this senior class has been a special class, and I feel like they've been beat on with COVID and not had the opportunities that we would like for them to. So hopefully their experience has been special in some way, and they have been special for me personally, and they have been special for the band program. So congratulations to everybody, and thank you all for a wonderful evening.